Good morning. Today again we are going to do some grammar and the topic is reported speech. So before I start, I'd like to clarify something, that when I say speech in this lesson, it does not mean the long speech you give to an audience. Here we are dealing with the statements or the dialogues which are written in the way it was spoken, and we're going to learn how to report it. So I hope you are clear about that. So we are going to look at how to convert sentences to reported speech, and it can be a statement or a question or a command or a request. First, let us look at an example. In this example, you can see how the changes have been made in the reported sentence. And there are certain rules you should keep in mind while transforming these sentences to reported speech. So let's take a look at the rules one by one. The first thing you need to do is to identify the tense in which the speech, that is the statement or the dialogue, is written. Well, it can be present tense or past tense or present continuous or any of those tenses. You need not worry too much about the more complicated tenses, because you will be getting only simple sentences. Next, you have to make sure that you add words like said or told or requested, ordered, or any of those words depending on the situation. And the third thing to remember is to change the first person pronoun to the third person. That is, if it is I, you will have to change it to he or she. And if it is we, you must change it to they. But before this, you can, if you want, add the word that when you write said that or told that. But even if you don't write that, it's okay now. And for reporting a question, you don't need to add that. Instead of that, you will be adding if. So this is an important point to remember. Now let's discuss the next rule, which is to backshift the tense. This means that you must change the tense of the verb to past tense if it is in present tense. And if it is in past tense, if it is already in past tense, then you must change it to past participle. In the next example, we have converted a question to reported speech. And you can see that we have added if in reported speech, and we have also converted the tense of the verb from present tense to past tense. So you can see work has become worked. But if there is a helping verb coming with the main verb, then this rule will change, and that's what we're going to see next. In this example, you can see that there is a helping verb has coming before the main verb played. Here you can see has changed to had. In such sentences which has a helping verb and a main verb, you need not change the tense of both the verbs. You will only change the tense of the helping verb. So in the next example also you can see we have changed is to was, and the main verb is playing, but we have not changed the tense of playing to past tense. This is what you have to remember when you have a helping verb and a main verb in the same sentence. And this is the rule we are going to look at next. In such sentences, you have to be extra careful not to change the tense of the main verb. You should be very careful and make sure that you change the tense of the helping verbs like am or is, was, has, had and all that. So if it is has, it becomes had, and is becomes was, or does becomes did, do also will become did, because all the present tense will be changing to past tense. In this example, you can see am has been changed to was and I has become he. And I've given you two answers in which I have added that after said. And whether you add that or not, it does not make much difference now. But there is another important point which you need to keep in mind while converting sentences to reported speech. Here, as I told you, the helping verb changes to past tense, but the tense of the main verb does not change. You can take a look at this example once again, and as you can see, the form of the main verb has not changed. The main verb is buying and it remains the same. Only the form of the helping verb am has changed to was. So this is the trickiest part of reported speech, and you have to be very careful here and keep this rule in mind. This is the most important rule of reported speech. And in the next example also, you can see the helping verb have has changed to had, but the main verb fixed remains the same. Now we are going to discuss in detail how to convert questions to reported speech. And the first rule we have already discussed, that for yes or no questions beginning with is, was, are, has, have, or do, does, or did, we have to add if in the reported speech and also remove the first word of the question, which could be had or has or any of those words. So that is the first rule for reporting questions. Now we are going to take a look at the next rule, which is for questions beginning with a question word like what, when, where, why, or how. In such questions, you have to change the pronoun and the word order, and also the tense of the verb. So we're going to look at an example. Where are you going? And this is a question which has been reported as Emily asked where I was going. So here you can see we have changed the pronoun you to I, and the verb has also changed from are to was. So are is present tense, that has been changed to past tense. But another important thing you can see here is that we have changed the word order. That is, in the question, are is coming before you, but in reported speech, I is coming before was. So you have to be careful with this. And this is the rule that we are reading now. If there is or was in the question, it will be before the noun. But in reported speech, we have to put it after the noun. So that's all about converting questions to reported speech. Now we are going to look at the use of modal verbs in reported speech. And you are already familiar with modals and the use of modals like can, will, shall, could, would, etc. So if the modal verbs are in present tense, you must change it to past tense. And if it is a question that begins with a modal verb, then you must not forget to add if when you convert it to reported speech, just as you do in all other questions. And another thing to remember is, if the modal verb is already in past tense, like could or would, then you need not change the tense. So here is an example for you to learn the use of modals in reported speech. And in the next example, you can see the modal verb will has been changed to would, you has become I, come has taken the past tense go, and tomorrow is also changed to next day. So I hope everything is clear for you now. I will be giving you some more examples as notes and also some questions for you to practice, which you can do as an assignment. So let's wind up today's class. Until we meet again, have a nice day.